Hey everyone, this is Coles, and today I'm going to be walking you through my Crazy Taxi build, which uses the Crazy Tinkerer in order to beat Nightmare mode on Heroes vs. Hordes. The Crazy Tinkerer is free to play available, and super easy to get to level 80, and so for anyone that's looking to give this strategy a try, he's easily available. Real quickly, you can kind of see what I built here. His gear is pretty standard. I'm doing a wizard armor and ranger boots. The ranger boots are for move speed, and the wizard armor is for a starting upgrade. Getting levels in Nightmare is a little bit harder because nothing dies. And then for my jewel setup, the big thing to note here is the movement speed. So you can see that down at the bottom. I have 10, 22.5. I have 37.5 movement speed increase. And that's the key to this whole strategy. So that's why it's called Crazy Taxi. You're going to have Crazy Tinkerer running around like a moron, just trying not to die for every part of the mob encounter. So I've been playing this game now for about 3 months. I'm in a top 300 guild, now I'm like level 700 talent wise, but at the time it's like level 350 talent wise. And so I'll show you how I basically run around in Nightmare mode and not die in order to clear it. So this works from about level 1 to 30 in Nightmare, using like you saw what I had there. I had like the Ascended Helm and like base legendary armor. And this is basically what I'm going to do the entire run, is 2 circles. And I kind of pretend I'm a running back, like playing football, and you got to hit the holes. So these mobs leave very small holes, and if you can kind of just like circle around in them and not die too much, eventually you'll get to the point where you get enough items that you can just tank it and not even have to sweat it. Goal here is not to kill anything, as you notice. I'm not actively trying to kill anything, I'm just trying not to die. And that's the difference between Nightmare and regular. Is in regular mode, right? Hard mode, you basically kill everything before they kill you, and in this you're trying to just not die for 2 minutes straight. So movement speed is big, and then the priority of items here, I'll walk you through it a little bit. So number 1 priority is Armor Tome. You want to max that out as fast as you can, as quickly as you can. Armor Tome is followed up by Divine Aura. Divine Aura, you only need level 2. You basically just want to have it at slightly bigger radius so that you can knock back anything that kind of comes at you and survive through it. After hitting Divine Aura 2 and Armor Tome maxed, you can look for something like Evasion Tome. So Evasion is reduced in Nightmare, but some evasion is better than no evasion. And then also Frost Wand. So I don't really know what I was offered here. I haven't really been paying attention to that. The key takeaway more than anything is get Armor Tome and run around in circles. So this build, I was, again, kind of early in my strategy run, and is doing way too much damage. You actually don't want to have this much damage, because as you can see, like the mobs never stop spawning. When you do this right at higher level, mobs will stop spawning, and you just have the same mobs in a circle for like a minute or so. Oh, that's one thing to think about. Okay, so you're not going to see it here, but the reason why I'm kiting in circles is because if you kite in a straight line, the mobs on the screen reset, and then they come at you. You'll kind of see that as I'm kiting in circles, eventually I hit a max number of mobs on the screen. There are only so many of these little worm guys that the game will allow to display at once. And so once you hit the max number of followers, like mobs following you or kiting around you, the game doesn't spawn anymore. And so that actually gets real easy. So about like a minute into this, you're going to see how they stop spawning around the edges. And that makes it super easy. So you're just going to be like walking around in circles without any new mobs coming in. However, if you walk straight quick enough such that the mobs on the screen are no longer on the screen, they will come at you in a wall from the side of the screen, making it like almost impossible to dodge them. And so you can't kite straight, you have to kite in a circle. That's the whole kind of key to this strategy, is Crazy Taxi around in a circle. And you can see now, right, like there's much fewer mobs coming out. Basically, as I kill the mobs in that giant kiting circle, more will spawn, but they're not like coming in at their normal pace. And so that's why actually taking defensive abilities and items is actually the way to go here, instead of trying to do any damage. You don't want mobs to spawn. You want enough damage so that at the end of the run, you're not spending like 10 minutes kiting them longer, but that's all you need. You just want to have enough damage so that you can kill them at the end. And during the run, you actually want to have more defensive items. So I've learned that as I've gone. This I'm still buying, I think, actually too many offensive items. Another good max is Life Tome. I know it seems kind of silly, but eventually it'll let your Frost Wand, your Ice Wand evolve, and it gives you extra health. So health scales on top of armor extremely well. It's basically like in every video game that has those concepts. And so once you have increased your armor to max, the more life you get, the more effective health you get. Some other tips I've learned, we're not going to see it here. We're dealing with these guys that are charging at us. That's one type of kind of mob you're going to have, special mob you'll deal with. The other special mob that you're going to have to deal with eventually are like the fast flying crows. So what is it? A flock of crows? You know, those like when the flocks come at you in a straight line off the side of the screen and go directly across the screen. Those will kill you because if you don't move out of the way, they'll just all ram into you and you'll die. In later levels, they actually have really long, extraordinarily long flocks of crows and multiple at the same time. The way I found so far in my N of 2 of beating those things is to fly against the flock such that you get to the end of it faster, right? So if they're going left to right across the screen, you want to go right to left, right as close as you can into them without crashing into them and without causing your mob circle to reset. That haven't hit those until level 41. They are tricky to deal with at that point. It took me like 4 or 5 runs to figure out how to like not die from crows flying at me. I'll also say that levels like 4 and 5, when you're not in like the kind of map that allows you to just go in these kind of fun circles, but the ones that are vertical maps where they just spawn from the top and the bottom, especially early, those are going to be tricky. I think I had probably used like 60 or maybe 120 gems per run to clear those 2 out, just because there's no room to kite in circles like this, and so you end up having to cross the stream, and that is risky when you don't have great gear, and so you might die a couple times. But you can see here, right, we're basically done with the run. I've been running around in circles for a good 10 minutes now. This is a good example now, right, where like there are very few mobs spawning as I just continue to kite the same set of mobs over and over again. And you'll see at the end of the run that it's something like 250-ish mobs that max out in that like giant blob behind you. So you're trying to get like 250 dudes just chasing you around in a circle. Ideally, again, like I'm doing too much damage here. I've learned to actually go more defensive because there's no reason to kill anything. You just want to have enough damage so that you're not spending too much time at the end of the run, like right now. But yeah, this is a typical Crazy Taxi, Crazy Tinkerer run in Nightmare mode. And I hope you've learned something from this. Follow me for more here on HVH Lounge. Again, I'm Coles. I'm a competitive video game player generally, usually in TFT, but I've taken a break from that and I'm playing some HVH. So let me know what you think.